The glow of the phone screen seared my eyes. The hashtag Lexi Valentino get out of NY blazed like a red-hot branding iron, nailed firmly to the top of Twitter's trending list. Huddled on the couch in my Brooklyn apartment, I scrolled through a sea of curses, each one oozing with venom: slut, liar, the parasite who ruined Zayn. An invisible hand squeezed my heart, choking me with a suffocating dread that made me tremble, not from cold, but from sheer terror. 3 days ago, I'd been just an ordinary sculpture student at the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan, obsessing over clay textures and light angles. Now, I was the most hated person online, a prey stripped of all privacy, thrown into the public eye to be torn apart. I couldn't believe it was real. My fingers refreshed the page instinctively, watching the vicious comments spread like a virus. My mind went blank, filled only with a shrill ringing in my ears. How could they condemn me based on a blurry photo and a few out-of-context words? I wanted to fight back, to scream, to smash the phone to pieces, but my limbs felt leaden, too heavy even to open my mouth. Helplessness washed over me like a tidal wave. I curled up with my knees to my chest, burying my face in my arms as tears soaked through my sleeves. I started questioning myself. Had I done something wrong? Should I never have gone to that art gala? Should I never have been Zayn's sister? These thoughts gnawed at my nerves like poisonous snakes, dragging me into a deep pit of self-loathing. The whole mess started with a ridiculous lie. Someone posted an anonymous thread claiming that Zayn Valentino, my biological brother, the Hollywood rising star who'd shot to fame with Star Trek, New Era, had landed the lead role only because I'd bribed the producer with improper favors. The post included a blurry photo, Zayn and I toasting at the art gala, maliciously cropped to look like we were embracing intimately. Within hours, my social media accounts were hacked. Old arguments with classmates, casual complaints from internships, even random street photos, everything was twisted into proof of my bad character. My inbox exploded with death threats, flooding in like a torrent. Hope you die like your parents, trash like you should jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, each message struck like a knife to my most vulnerable spots. Someone leaked my address, piles of takeout boxes littered my doorstep, covered in grotesque graffiti. The school's email system overflowed with hate mail, and my professor sent a message suggesting I take a leave of absence. Even the barista at my regular cafe looked at me with disgust, a look more humiliating than any insult. I tried to defend myself, posting the uncut gala video, but was accused of covering up the truth. The video was quickly shadow banned, its comments section flooded by paid trolls. I felt like I was trapped under a glass dome, pounding and screaming as maliciousness surged around me, but no one could hear. My only hope was Zayn. We'd been through everything together. Our parents died in a car crash when we were kids, and he'd worked multiple jobs to put me through school, waiting tables by day, working night shifts at a gas station. His fingers were always stained with grease, his eyes perpetually dark circles, but he'd always saved the best for me. I'd watched him climb from small community theater roles to the red carpet, where he'd said in his acceptance speech, "The person I'm most grateful to is my sister Lexi, she's the reason I kept going." He'd always told me, "Lexi, we're each other's only family. No matter what happens, I'll always have your back." Those words had once been the warmest light in my life. Now, I clung to those memories just to stay afloat. I called him, but his manager answered with a cold, sharp voice, "Ms. Valentino, Zayn is filming a crucial scene right now and can't be disturbed. The company will handle the online rumors, please stop interfering with his work." "I'm his sister." I sobbed, my voice breaking. "He has to listen to me. It's all lies, I can't take this anymore, Zayn." "Precisely because you're his sister, you should keep your distance," the manager snapped, undisguised contempt in his tone. "Zayn's career is just taking off. You shouldn't be a stumbling block." The line went dead. I gripped the phone so tightly my knuckles whitened, my nails digging into my palm. I told myself Zayn must have been forced, he loved me too much to abandon me. He was just too busy. Once filming wrapped, he'd come find me, protect me like he always had. I clung to that fragile hope, waiting in the dark until 8 p.m. Then Zayn's official Twitter updated. The photo showed him in his movie costume, his smile still charming, but the words cut through my last shred of hope like a knife. In response to recent false rumors circulating online, I formally state, Lexi Valentino has no connection to my family. We are merely acquaintances from the past. I deeply regret and condemn her inappropriate actions. I have always focused on my career and firmly oppose all forms of malicious hype and moral coercion. I ask that everyone focus on my work. Thank you for your support. Every word felt like a dagger to my heart. I stared at the tweet, my mind going blank before overwhelming despair crashed over me. Each other's only family, always have your back, it had all been a lie. I collapsed to the floor, icy cold, as if falling into an endless abyss. Streetlights filtered through the window, casting fragmented shadows on the floor, shadows that looked like mocking faces, staring at the fool who'd been abandoned by the world. So that's what I was to him, a mere acquaintance, a stumbling block to his career. All those years of shared hardships, all those promises, they were just meaningless jokes. In the days that followed, the online harassment escalated. Someone leaked my school records, my home address, even photos of my parents' tombstone, with comments like, "You killed your parents," and "You ruin everything you touch." I didn't dare go outside, didn't dare turn on the lights. I stayed cooped up in the dark like a wounded animal, curtains drawn tight. The apartment reeked of rotten takeout. I looked a mess, unwashed hair, empty eyes, and eating felt like a chore. I only ordered delivery, but riders would often dump the food on the ground, snarling, dirtying my hands for trash like you. Every knock on the door, every phone vibration, sent my heart racing, fearing another wave of attacks. I started having insomnia, lying awake all night staring at the ceiling, replaying the vicious comments and Zayn's statement in my head. My chest ached relentlessly. I felt like a rotten apple, despised by the world, like being alive was a crime. Then one day, I received an anonymous email from someone claiming to be a member of Zayn's fan club. Attached was an audio recording of Zayn and his manager. "Zayn, the public backlash is getting worse," his manager's voice sounded anxious. "If you don't cut ties with Lexi soon, the investors might pull out." "I know, but she's my sister," Zayn's voice hesitated, tinged with faint conflict. "So what if she's your sister?" the manager interrupted. "Don't you remember how hard you worked to get here? All those all-nighters, all the opportunities you turned down? Now you're on the verge of making it big, are you going to throw it all away for a reckless sister? If your career crashes, what can you give her? You won't even be able to support yourself." There was a long silence. Then Zayn spoke, his voice cold and unfamiliar, "You're right. Career comes first. Draft a statement, say I don't have any connection to her." "That's the spirit," the manager's voice brightened. "I knew you were ambitious. Don't worry, once the statement goes out, the fans will understand. Your career will only soar higher." The recording ended. I burst into tears, but no sound escaped. So he hadn't been forced, he'd abandoned me willingly. When it came to choosing between his career and our family, he'd picked the former without hesitation. And I'd been nothing but a sacrifice for his success. Had all those years of kindness been fake? Or were all relationships just fragile in the face of fame and fortune? I looked at myself in the mirror, pale, haggard, eyes empty. The girl who'd once dreamed of the future had been destroyed by online violence and betrayal. I hated Zayn for his selfishness, hated the mindless internet mob, but most of all, I hated my own weakness. But as my tears dried up, a strange strength welled up inside me. I couldn't let this break me. Before our parents died, they'd held Zayn's hand and begged him to take care of me. They wouldn't want to see me give up like this. I wiped my eyes, my gaze hardening with resolve. Why should I suffer for this? Why should the guilty go unpunished? Why should Zayn's betrayal be forgiven so easily? No, I was going to fight back. I was going to find the person behind this, prove my innocence, and make Zayn pay for his betrayal. That awakening was like a seed sprouting in the soil of despair, giving me the courage to keep going. I cleaned up the apartment, threw out the rotting takeout boxes, and took a hot shower. Staring at my reflection, I still looked tired, but there was a new determination in my eyes. I started piecing together the clues. The anonymous post had gone up the day after Zayn was confirmed for the lead role, too coincidental to be an accident. The person who'd taken and cropped that photo must have been at the gala. I scoured my social media, tracked down the gala organizers, and pulled strings to get the guest list. One name jumped out at me, Zoe Reed. She was my classmate and a die-hard Zayn fan. We'd argued before over a sculpture competition. Her piece had been rejected, while I'd won a scholarship. She'd complained privately that I used my connection to Zayn to get ahead, jealousy burning in her eyes. I suspected Zoe was the mastermind. To gather evidence, I created a fake social media account, posing as a loyal Zayn fan, and joined the fan group Zoe was in. I played along with her rants about Lexi's evil deeds, and we quickly became friends. Every conversation felt like torture. I had to hide my anger and pretend to agree with her. But I kept going, thinking of my suffering and my parents' last wishes. In one chat, I brought up the rumors on purpose. Lexi is so terrible, using dirty tricks to ruin Zayn's career. Thank God he cut ties with her. Zoe replied instantly, exactly. I've hated her for ages, acting like she's better than everyone just because she's Zayn's sister, stealing my scholarship. Now she's ruined, and she can't drag Zayn down anymore. I egged her on, too bad there's no proof she did it on purpose. I wish we could expose her for good. Proof? Zoe sent a smug emoji. I have plenty. I posted that thread, and I took the photo. I wanted her to feel what it's like to be hated by everyone. Fighting back a surge of anger and triumph, I said, "Wow, you're amazing. Aren't you scared of getting caught?" Scared? Please, Zoe scoffed. I used a fake account, who's going to find me? Everyone already thinks Lexi's a monster. No one will believe her even if she tries to explain. I screenshot our conversation and tricked her into sending a voice message admitting everything. When I had all the evidence, my hands shook with excitement. All those days of pain and forbear had finally paid off. I contacted a lawyer immediately, submitting Zoe's chat logs, voice message, the uncut gala video, and proof of her collusion with Zayn's manager. And then I uncovered an even bigger secret. Zayn's manager had known about Zoe's plan all along. He'd even funded her, providing money and resources to hire trolls and amplify the rumors. Their goal was simple: sacrifice me to generate hype for Zayn's new show and paint him as a principled star who put his career above personal ties. My lawyer advised me to hold a press conference to reveal everything. I reached out to several media outlets that covered online violence. They sympathized with my story and agreed to help. On the day of the press conference, I wore a black blazer and light makeup to hide my exhaustion. Facing the reporters' flashing cameras, I felt no fear. I started by calmly telling my story, the fear, the helplessness, the despair, every word coming from the bottom of my heart. Then I played Zoe's voice message, showed the chat screenshots and the uncut gala video, and finally presented evidence of the manager's involvement. I never bribed anyone, and I never sought fame, I said, my voice steady and strong as I looked into the cameras. I was just an ordinary student, attacked and betrayed because of my brother's fame. My brother Zayn Valentino chose his career over our family, cutting ties with me and condemning me. It breaks my heart. But I believe justice, though delayed, will never be denied. I hope my story raises awareness about the dangers of online violence, and reminds those blinded by greed of the true value of family. After the press conference, public opinion flipped overnight. Hashtag Zoe Reed apologize, hashtag fire Zayn's manager, and hashtag Lexi Valentino is innocent shot to the top of the trending lists. Netizens apologized to me, condemning Zoe's malicious lies and Zayn's cold-hearted betrayal. Zoe was arrested for defamation and faced legal consequences. Zayn's manager was fired and blacklisted in the industry. As for Zayn, his new show's ratings soared due to the controversy, but his reputation was ruined. Fans deserted him in droves, and investors pulled out because of the backlash. His career crumbled. After the press conference, Zayn called me countless times, but I never answered. He sent long, desperate text messages apologizing, claiming he'd been brainwashed by his manager and made a mistake. He begged for forgiveness, for a chance to be family again. I read the messages without feeling a thing. Some wounds can never heal. He betrayed me when I needed him most. The despair of being abandoned by the world was something I'd never forget. I deleted his contact information and turned off my phone. Sunlight streamed through the window, warm and bright. I walked to the window, looking out at the bustling streets of New York, and took a deep breath. The nightmare was finally over. I was ready to start a new life. I went back to school and resumed my sculpture studies. There were still a few whispers and stares, but most people looked at me with encouragement and support. My piece, Fracture, a sculpture made of shattered mirrors reflecting different lights, won first prize at the National College Student Sculpture Exhibition. It symbolized finding wholeness in brokenness, even after betrayal and pain. During the award ceremony, the host asked about my inspiration. I smiled and said, "It's about the cracks in family, the tests of humanity, and the power of self-redemption. I believe every fracture is a place where light can shine through." The audience erupted in applause. As I looked out, I imagined seeing my parents' smiling faces, and the reflection of a girl who'd risen from the ashes, stronger than ever. Just as I thought my life was back on track, Zayn showed up at my sculpture exhibition. He'd lost weight, his eyes bloodshot and tired. The starry glow he once had was gone, replaced by exhaustion and regret. He wore a simple casual outfit, standing in front of Fracture in silence for a long time. When I saw him, my heart skipped a beat, then went cold. I didn't approach him, continuing to talk to my professors and classmates. But he walked up to me, his voice hoarse. "Lexi, I know I messed up, terribly. I don't expect you to forgive me right away. I just want a chance to make it up to you." I looked at him, my expression calm and unwavering. "Zayn, there's nothing to make up for. Our relationship ended the day you posted that statement." "No, it didn't." He grabbed my wrist tightly, his voice urgent. "Lexi, I know how much you suffered. I've been torturing myself every day. I shouldn't have listened to my manager. I shouldn't have abandoned you for my career. You're my only sister, my closest family in the world." His eyes were red with remorse. People around us stared, and I felt uncomfortable. I pulled my wrist away forcefully. "Zayn, this doesn't matter anymore. I don't need your protection. I'm doing fine on my own." "I know you're strong now, but I still want to help," he insisted. "I used all my savings to start an anti-online violence foundation. I want to make amends for what I did, and help others who've gone through what you did." I froze, surprised by his decision. "That's your choice, not mine," I said flatly. "Zayn, it's better if we stay away from each other. For both of us." With that, I turned and walked away, never looking back. I could feel his gaze on my back, filled with sorrow and regret, but I didn't waver. Some roads, once taken, can never be unchosen. Family is precious, but the scars of betrayal last forever. The future is long, but I know I'll never back down again.